We won't waste their time. They should be working instead. Yes?
I'm sorry. It may be helpful to have a copy of the 2010 first quarter.
We do have it. Are you asking for a copy of it?
No, I'm just thinking back that, you know, there are lines that are spent faster.
Yes.
In the spring.
Yeah.
And just
like unemployment.
That at the end of the year, you're sitting pretty well.
Right.
And whether or not that would be helpful.
Right. And I think unemployment was overspent. We didn't know what the rate was going to be, and it's overspent. We have no control over it. Anybody else for public input?
And yet still,
you have more?
One more thing. And hopefully it will come out, and hopefully the commissioners will be well versed in it. The county has been losing on average $500,000 a quarter in a nursing home.
Right.
There's a $10,000 profit in the nursing home in the first quarter of 2011. So all of the projections that the commission made for that process that we're currently in the middle of are coming to pass.
Yeah.
I think
I will say a lot of that is due to having the beds 100% filled, 103 beds. Last week it was reported that we only have 100 beds filled. We were down 3, mainly because of deaths that take place at the nursing home, and those would probably be filled. Hopefully we'll have a report today as to where we stand on that. But that means a lot of income. If 103 beds are filled, then we're going to make some money, hopefully.
Exactly, which is exactly what we projected.
Yep. Anybody else got any further input? If not, we'll close the public portion of our meeting and move into our agenda, which is at 9:32. We'll have a community development block grant project. You want to come up, explain the reason and what we have to do to make sure it's in our minutes?
Sure. I'm Donna Lane, a community development block grant consultant. And when we have a community development block grant funding a project, we have to have a progress public hearing before it closes out.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah.
And so this is the progress. Denise, you coming? Denise, you know, Denise from Whiteco, Homer.
Okay.
This is the progress public hearing for the capacity building project, which is the community development block grant funds come through Community Development Finance Authority, but they're HUD funds. And this capacity building project was a $200,000 project that funded, there's 10 regional planning commissions, 10 economic development commission councils throughout the state, Whiteco's being one of them, and Mount Washington Economic Development, and there's 10 all around the state. So they each got approximately $20,000 for capacity building, which funds different parts of their organization.
They each got how much?
$20,000.
$20,000, okay. Yep.
Yeah. It's like 19,000 something.
Yep.
And that's for their operating expenses, and what they are supposed to do is help create jobs throughout the state in their areas.
So we officially would open this up as a public hearing?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we open up this meeting for public input or public, what do you want to call it?
Public comments are good.
Public comments regarding community development block grant. Do I have a second?
Yes, second.
All those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. So voted. Okay, go ahead.
And they're supposed to have help create each economic development was supposed to help create one job, and it ended up there was 50 jobs, 47 if you full-time equivalents. So that was very encouraging, very nice. And we've done this a couple years through Carroll County, and next year Sullivan County is going to be the lead agency. We move it around. Belknap County's done it before. Yep. Grafton County's done it before, so we kind of take turns.
When does that change over? 1st of January?
They already have their application in for 2011. It will be 2011. We were 2010.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What has Wedco used the money for?
We've used the money to cover operations and towards, administration of a revolving loan funds and other activities that we've undergone. So it's just it's just to support the organization. So we've had a very good year last year. There was a lot of jobs created through our programs. We've sold the real estate that we had in Farmington, so it was a very good year for us.
Okay.
And the job creation that you're seeing there on this particular report is just the activities with the revolving loan fund. That doesn't include all the job creation that all the organizations created through the other programs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
because we administer USDA monies through the lending program, and if there were other particular projects, the jobs created went towards that. So this is not the whole picture of all of the jobs that were created through these organizations.
It's supposed to be creating a job for how much? Each 20,000?
Yeah, it's.
One job?
Yeah, that's what.
the minimum. You have to create one job
Yeah.
for $20,000.
Right.
That's the same when you get economic development money through CDFA. If you were doing a project helping a business expand, giving them a loan,
Mhm.
that's the same.
That's
It's
right.
$20,000
Same
minimum.
Okay. Is there any money to rehab our old nursing home?
Kind of knew you'd go there. Yes, it depends what you want to put in there. Is it going to be social services type of things?
It could be office space, it could be.
Office space, no,
No.
not through this.
Okay,
If you put in a daycare, could be adult or child, like Alzheimer's type of daycare.
yeah,
Daycare is a high priority activity. There's a couple. The next deadline is the end of July, but January. It's twice a year for that type of money.
That's right.
Economic development money goes out whenever you ask for it. It's a rolling
and
application.
how much is available?
$500,000 you are available to request in economic development money per year, and $500,000 in housing, public facility. That's one category.
And what's the interest rate?
This is a grant.
Outright grant?
Depends what you're doing. If it's an economic development project and you're helping someone create jobs, it will be a loan
To the business.
to the business. If you're rehabbing the nursing home and you're putting in adult daycare or child daycare or a high priority activity, it would be a grant based on, excuse me, your promise to service low and moderate income people for a 20-year period. Whenever you use CDBG funds, it has to be to primarily benefit low and moderate income people. I had spoken to someone a while back. I don't recall who it was who had given me a call. And I hadn't heard anything since. I didn't know, I assumed you weren't quite ready since you had things going on.
Right.
I assume you
right.
haven't moved out.
Okay.
Have you moved out? No.
No, we'll move out in September.
Yeah, so January might be a good round.
Mhm.
Of course, we're
The problem-
facing cutbacks too, so we don't know.
The problem may be, we don't have to do it this fall, but right now it's scheduled for October for demolition. However, if there's a good use of the wings, now we're talking about, and converting those over to whatever, we would probably hold on to that until after the first of the year, to see what grant money might be available. Anybody got any public input regarding what has been said so far? Yes, Mr. Babson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think Donna said that whatever this organization is created 50 jobs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Does the delegation get any paperwork to show where these jobs are or what they are? Or
Yes,
whether that's-
they have it all on their, here's some, they have it in their files, but here's a
Are those
copy.
extra copies?
Um,
Are those extra
These
copies?
are for you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I just want to clarify one thing. When I said no to offices, I mean no to your type of offices, but if it's like an office, like a CAP
For a
office
doctor.
for fuel,
For a doctor.
for a doctor, it depends. Remember we did that building in Tamworth through CDBG?
Yeah.
And that has some medical stuff. It will depend on the low mod benefit if they're primarily, we have to look into whatever you propose to see if it's eligible or not.
Well, let's say theoretically that we provide a doctor's office in one of those wings, a section of it, that are to be used, that doctor is to be used for our jail and our nursing home. Is that going to qualify?
It would likely qualify because those folks would likely be low and moderate income primarily.
So the
It's
doctor doesn't
possible.
have to be low or moderate.
Oh, no,
What he
no.
serves
This is
would
the,
be.
yeah, the people
Okay.
benefiting.
Okay.
And we've done dental clinics before, types
Mhm.
of things like that. But those folks have, those offices have to primarily serve low and moderate income people. And that's a grant because obviously they're not recouping the money
Is it
for
60%?
services. It has to be at least 51%. 60% is for economic
Okay,
development.
all right.
All right, if the primary purpose of a medical examiner or a doctor is for the jail, we don't know really what their income is. We assume that it's pretty low.
Well, it's pretty low usually when they're
And we know the nursing
incarcerated.
home,
That's
a
right.
lot of those are
Yep.
not
Well, most of those will be
paying their
Medicaid.
Medicaid,
That's
right.
Medicare, right.
And those are the numbers we take. What percentage are Medicaid folks?
Yeah, actually-
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, you do know the financial condition of the prisoners, because that's part of their, when they come in. You
Okay.
find out what their financial status is.
Well, it's based on income, and so.
It might serve you well to do a poll of your nursing home and county employees to see what sort of daycare facility might work.
Yeah.
If,
Several years ago, that came up because a lot of our employees have young kids that they have to provide babysitting for while they're working. At that point in time, we didn't have space to do that.
It also gives you a lot more flexibility when you're trying to attract employees.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
operating on
A lot of businesses are doing that.
But you need to know what the income limitations are. And what are you considering low and moderate income?
Well, there's a chart, it goes based on household size. They're not that terribly low. Around here, the majority would be low and moderate income.
Okay.
But obviously, you don't want to be in the business of, well, I would assume the county doesn't want to run the daycare. We want to find
Somebody to
an
do it.
organization that will
Mhm.
run it.
Yeah.
Maybe one that's already
Yeah.
running one that would expand.
What about Meals on Wheels?
Possibly.
That would serve low to moderate
Mhm.
income? Okay.
Especially if you're going to have a mix, if the area, like a portion of the building is going to be a mix of services to primarily low and moderate income people, we could
Well,
possibly
it'd be a
get
kitchen
grant.
facility that would prepare the meals,
Mhm.
Yeah.
plus a dining area there also.
How did, and I'm not certain you can answer it, but how do you manage a project in a single building that is multi-use? For, let's say, you gave the county a grant for $250,000, premised upon a doctor's office and a daycare center, but they're only going to be using 50% of the space.
Right, then if the rehab cost was 500,000, we have to get the rehab cost for their areas. We
Okay.
can only assist the
Whatever
areas
percentage of the building they're going to be using is the percentage
for
of
their,
the project.
their particular room or area.
Right.
We have to have the actual cost for that area.
Can be used for furniture and fixtures as well, can it?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's structural.
Mhm.
Structural would be a percentage of their space.
Okay, Mr. Babson, you had a question.
Yeah, couple of questions. It looks like freeloader farm is pretty good at freeloading. So,
Yeah, they didn't get, and none of these businesses on that list got any money from this project.
then why do we have this?
This
That's-
is, go ahead.
Go ahead. That's the businesses we've been working with and helping to create jobs. And Freeloader Farm is actually Mountain View Station in Center Ospey.
I know that, I eat there every morning, and they've done a wonderful job, and they've
Yeah.
hired 5 or 6 extra people.
So what
Exactly,
has happened is Denise has helped them, Denise's organization has helped them to create jobs. They did not get any money. Denise's organization got money for administration, well, capacity building. But none of these businesses got money from this project.
So Denise, if the money doesn't go to